So guys, I wanted to touch base with you guys about a topic that can be pretty intimidating for a lot of new players, and that is the character sheet. This can be very overwhelming because you see a lot of words and numbers. This is just not to do anything but fill you in on what this stuff means and why it's there. Okay? So, at the top here, you'll see very closely that we have the character's name, Vigo Robato. Then over here, we have their class, their background, their player's name, so that's me, Vincent, their race, their alignment, and their experience. Alignment is something we'll talk about in another video because that's a topic that's pretty controversial. Okay? Now, when we look at a character sheet, what do you see? You see a bunch of numbers. Mainly, what's important is these numbers over here, for the most part. Those pertain to strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Strength is like throwing an apple. Dexterity is being able to catch that apple or avoid getting hit by the apple. Constitution is being able to get back up after you get hit with an apple in the face. Intelligence is knowing what an apple is. Wisdom is knowing or understanding that apples grow from trees. And charisma is being able to convince somebody not to throw an apple at your face in the first place. That is an oversimplification, but that sums up what those stats mean. Now, on the back, you'll see a couple other very basic things that we'll get into later. That's a drawing. We'll explain that. Okay? Now, next to these stats, we have skills. Okay? Above those skills, we have saves. Above that, we have your proficiency, and we have your inspiration. Okay? So skills pertain to things that you can do outside of combat, sometimes in combat, that will affect the world, whether it be lie to somebody, persuade somebody, think back on the history that you know of the world, or investigate a magic item. Okay? Skills like that. Okay? Those pertain to one of the 6 stats that you have listed: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. Okay? Now, if you have 10 in every stat, that means you get a modifier of 0. Modifiers are things that you add or subtract from your dice rolls, from the 20-sided dice rolls, in order to come up with probabilities. Okay? So, your strength is 10, which means you get a modifier of 0. You want to throw a boulder, you have to roll this 20-sided dice. Bam, I got a 5. I hit a 5, I can't even pick up that boulder because I don't have a modifier added to it. Okay? Modifiers increase by 1 point. So 0 goes to 1, to 2, to 3, to 4. For every 2 numbers. Every second even number. Every even number above 10, essentially. So at 12, you get plus 1. 14 plus 2. 16 plus 3. 18 plus 4, and 20 you get plus 5. 20 is the highest that your stats can be in Dungeons & Dragons, unless specific things allow you to go above that. Very seldom does that happen, okay? Now, very simply put, those things, whatever your modifier is, or negative modifier, if it's below 10, by every even number, it gets minused by 1. So 8 is minus 1, 6 is minus 2, 4 is minus 3, you get it. Okay, those modifiers get added to your skills, and if you're proficient in a skill, which you'll learn at some point, you can become proficient in skills through either what your class or background offers, or what you decide to study. You can study things in this game. Okay, in spare time, like during short or long rests. Saves are used for imagine like a strength save would be used if a dinosaur wanted to step on you. Your DM would say, give me a strength saving throw. You would roll the dice, and if you hit a 16, I just hit a 16, my strength is 10, no added modifier, he would say, you catch the dinosaur's foot, and you're actually able to hold it above your head. And he'd probably say, give me a strength check if you want to throw him off, or an athletics check. At which point you roll the 20. I rolled a natural 20 there, so I'd be able to just chuck off this dragon, send it flying without issue. That's sort of how it works. That's a bit of an oversimplification, but that's the gist of it. Outside of those stats, you have your health, which is right here. Your health, which is right here. Your armor class, which is essentially your defense threshold. Your initiative, which gets used when you start combat. in order to make sure that you can go before enemies, or at least try to. Your speed is 30. 1 square is 5 feet, so 6 squares is 30. Okay? Your hit dice, which go over here, your hit dice are essentially what you can use to gain health at certain points in the game. Saves and failures are for when you lose consciousness, whether or not you bleed out. Okay? And die. Down here, we have the proficiencies that you have in tools, weapons, skills, armor, stuff like that. That goes here. Not skills. Skills go over here. But tools and armors and stuff like that. This is your equipment. So whatever you have listed here, this is your money. Here, this is the weapons that you use. You know, I just have those listed. And over here is your racial class traits or features. Those things are things that may affect you in combat or outside of combat, things that are specific to your character or specific to your character class. On the back, we have, again, you know, height, weight, whatever that describes the character. This is a drawing. You can draw your character if you want. I drew a little Viggo Mortensen, sort of like a character, but I call him Viggo Roboto because I just didn't care. Over here, you get organizations. So if you're part of an order of knights or a special team, you can put that there. Your additional features go here. Additional features pertain to anything that you can't fit here. Treasure. If you get a very special diamond or jewel, you can list that here. And finally, over here is your backstory. If you want to talk about how you became Batman, your backstory goes there. That is a drastic oversimplification of this sheet, but that essentially covers what it's about. In the next video, you'll see me fill out the tough part of the sheet on something that's slightly different. So take a look at that. Let me know what you think, and I hope this helped. All right? Peace out.